and welcome back to episode 3, Return of the Chris, aka a new Topher, aka Topher Strikes Back. This is the In the Hunt podcast. My name is Jake Mendel, and Lawrence Timmons is finally back. Chris, how we doing?
Jake, was this your best HQ impression? HQ trivia impression?
Oh, dude, really? You're gonna knock me down and call me one of those guys already?
Well, the thing is, you came out, what's his name, Scott Rogowski?
Sure.
You came out like with him with just the AKA, and then it made me just, that's probably the reason why I went AWOL, is because that right there.
I'm the necessary evil in your life, Topher. It's just what it is. And that's the thing. And I don't have a good Jerry Seinfeld impersonation, so I'm just going to ask you, what's the deal with airports? Tell me about it.
The thing with airports is, so I was actually delayed on the tarmac. I was sitting on the tarmac for about an hour and a half. My flight was delayed 3 hours, and the reason was because of air traffic. That there were some storms in the Boston area, which you live in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
And so there were some storms in the area, and so I take it that those storms caused like flight, called flight difficulties, I guess, because they had to like clear the airwaves. And
I think you should know that once it starts raining, you got to focus on the ground game. You got to pound the ball. Yeah,
and the thing is, evidently airplanes aren't meant for the ground game.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. Like they're not meant for the ground game, and so airplanes are meant for the air raid offense, the running gun. And the minute it starts raining, they're just they camp out. They don't have to do it anymore.
Drew Brees, they have small hands, and the ball gets wet, and they just can't really do anything.
The airplanes are small hands, actually. That's what airplanes are. They're just one big small hand.
One big small hand?
They're one big small hand.
All right. But how you feeling? Refreshed?
Oh, yeah. After my bye week of going AWOL, I feel great.
So technically you're 1-1 right now, and I'm 2-0. If we're talking, sense of times on the show, right? So I'm the
you're definitely you're winning early, but we all know how this is going to work out. So I'm actually setting my fans up and my people up. I'm setting them up with the expectations that things are going as status quo.
So that means you're going like a tear, like a 5-game tear, just to lose it all with the small hands, right?
Yes, and what you're doing is you're going to be 2-0 this week in terms of podcast appearances, and when that happens, we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be terrible. I feel bad for you. I really do. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for your family. I feel bad for everybody associated with you because you're going to finish 8-8, and it's going to be horrible.
I'm going to fumble on the goal line. I already feel it. This episode's going to be that. But welcome back to In the Hunt. It's good to have Topher back. Matt was a lot of fun. I hope you listened to that episode, Topher. But
I did.
If you didn't, we just talked mad crap about you. We have for the first time on the In the Hunt podcast a guest. But we're gonna pump the brakes. We're not gonna go into that just yet. We're gonna save that for a little bit. We're gonna do a little Dolphins talk on our own before we get into that. Before you left, Topher, you had some questions for us that you really wanted to be answered, and we just ignored them last week. So I thought, okay, we'll bring them back this week. We'll start here. You mentioned how Peyton Manning was one of the last free agent signings that like really changed the direction of a team, and you wanted us to talk about which players the Dolphins might have signed that helped the team move it in a good direction. Did any come to mind for you?
You would think it would be just Albert Wilson, right? Like that's got to be it. And it could be him or it could be Robert Quinn. Like no one's talking about this guy,
right?
Which is kind of crazy to me because normally this is how Dolphins offseason goes. Is they always make these offseason additions on the defensive line, and we rave about it. I mean, you remember when they had when it was Cam Wake and just Sue, and it was like, oh, that defensive line is going to cause chaos and be a pain in the butt for New England. And this is the first offseason that I can remember where we aren't even excited about the defensive line. Like, it's just not there.
Right.
And it's stuff like that like, maybe the expectations have been tempered for that unit, but that could be the unit that, like, actually, actually steps up. Like, why not? It's better than Mario Williams.
Oh my God, what was that? 16 mil for 2 years, Mario Williams. I liked that deal. I'll throw that one down the
I love that deal because it looked really good against Seattle, and then it fell apart right after.
Oh yeah. One thing that Robert Quinn, I've liked the signing. It's weird. He's only 28, but people say he's a lot. He's been in the league. It feels like forever, so he shouldn't
Football does
play.
that. Football's like that though.
It is to an extent, but I mean there's the excuses. This is what you do when your team's in the hunt. You figure out why someone was bad on another team and why they're going to be good on yours. So I'm just going to say he played with Jeff Fisher for some years, so he can only be so average with Jeff Fisher. And then there's a wrong scheme last year, and in camp.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's awesome. That's a classic scheme one right there. Wrong scheme. Scheme fit, instant scheme fit issues. That's the go-to move for NFL for like to hype up your guy. Is like, it was definitely a scheme.
Sipping the Kool-Aid.
It's all scheme. Yes, we did with Jarvis Landry. It's our scheme that got you catches.
Yep.
It's like, it's our scheme is the reason why you're getting 8 yards a catch.
Yeah, it's if we let you go downfield, you'd catch it downfield, of course. So it's all a scheme. But where was I going with this? So far, Robert Quinn was looking really good in camp. He beat Laramie Tunsil a couple times, and I think that's a group I'm a little excited about because you're right. When it's just Sue and Wake, whenever the Dolphins had a big game, it'd always be like the defensive line needs to play well, yada yada yada. And when you look at their stats, they really were never too great. They weren't at the top of sack numbers. Maybe you could argue they were on top of turnovers, but that was mostly because Cam Wake could give you one game with 3 strip sacks. But other than that, he'd kind of disappear. And it was always interesting because whenever the Dolphins had a big game, it'd always be, they're very good defensive line. But even when they had Sue and Wake and even Olivier Verdon, I want to argue that they weren't even like a top 5 defensive line, and there were so many resources thrown into it. So now, there's not that much hype, like you just mentioned. You got Charles Harris, a year older. William Hayes is going to be healthy, who I love. When you first asked this, I thought you meant guys who helped the team for the better over the last few seasons because there hasn't been a lot. But William Hayes was awesome last year. Everyone thought he was just a run stopper, but he was always in the backfield chasing quarterbacks. But this unit should be fun. I kind of like it being on the hush-hush, and there's going to be a big focus on the secondary. And the only way the secondary is going to be good this season is if, the edge rushers do their job. Is there anyone else that really stands out for you?
Classic football talk, though. Classic football. Classic. Your secondary, your secondary is going to be even better when they just have 4 pass rushers.
What came first, the good pass defense or the good rush defense?
Yes, that's like it's the good old chicken and the egg conversation.
Because you got to hold the wide receivers for at least 4 seconds, but the defensive ends need 4 seconds to get to the court. It's a huge mess. I don't get paid enough to figure that one out. But
yes,
yeah. Anyone else stand out for you that could be really thrilling?
So we got So we got Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
On the offense, I'm not going to go in with Frank Gore. I know how that's going to turn out. Last time they kind of did something like that was with Arian Foster. But on offense, can it just be Ryan Tannehill, or is that too obvious? Is that too hokey hacky?
No. I think you could say it. I think the hacky one to say would be Amendola. And you said how Frank Gore, you know how that's going to go. He's like the man of steel. He's not going to break down. I think he's going to be okay. I think Amendola is the real hokey. We kind of know. He's not going to play 16 games. He's getting a lot of hype. And I just, Darlington loves him. Darling's always talked about the Tannehill to Amendola connection. I think he's just going to end up, going to maybe play 10 games, couple good catches, and this might come back to bite me, excuse me. But he seems like the guy. It's like I'm not too excited about. Albert Wilson adds more of a flash and an unknown than Amendola.
Yeah, definitely Albert Wilson adds it because what you have. So this is what you have with Amendola. You have the tough catch across the middle, and he's just a tough, gritty white receiver. While Albert Wilson is the dude who could just make plays. You could see it, whether it's on special teams, or screen passes, end arounds. He has all that stuff. You just kind of wonder, was it Philadelphia? Was it Kansas City?
Yep.
Him being limited in Kansas City, or is he going to get a bigger role here, or is he going to get the same role that he had in Kansas City?
So is this kind of like the benchmark for if Tannehill's better than Alex Smith? If Albert Wilson does better with Tannehill than he did?
Ooh.
Is that it? I think we just figured it out.
Ooh. You just cracked the code on the Tannehill Alex Smith debate, because that's kind of like that's the issue, right? That's the big debate that like happens every year is Alex Smith versus Ryan Tannehill.
Yep. And it's always someone blowing off Tannehill like, oh, he's just an Alex Smith, and
yes,
doesn't Dolphins Twitter get triggered about that one?
I completely forgot about that debate. That's one of those like inside Dolphin Twitter debates that are happening every year. And this might be the year now where the Dolphins get the edge.
Yeah, I think we got to start that. We have to be the flagship of the Alex Smith, Ryan Tannehill 2018 debate. And the center of it, all the attention has to be Albert Wilson.
It's Albert Wilson. It's, that's it. I think okay, so we established Gronk stopper.
Yep.
And Alex Smith, Albert Wilson is our reason why Ryan Tannehill might be better than Alex Smith. Might be. We're practicing this might be.
We're on the right direction. But you're talking about all this Twitter lingo, and I was thinking, are you ready to introduce our first guest? One of the, I'll say one of the starting five of Dolphins Twitter.
I would say he's the father. Like you go to him for for advice.
Yep.
He's very calming.
You don't want to disappoint him. He definitely is, the cliche of, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Oh, boy.
Yeah, and he's the guy you don't want to disappoint. He's the GIF king.
All right. You're right. And I'm not going to cuck you guys anymore. So without further ado,
we are joined right now with Eric Elizondo. You might have seen him on Twitter. He is the GIF king, prominent member of Dolphins Twitter. If I'm right, I would consider you Dolphins Twitter, right? Even though you're a big fan of Notre Dame. You kind of live, Eric. You live out in the Northwest in Idaho, and so you're at a different part of the country, which is crazy to me. Because how did you become a Dolphins fan? And by the way, Jake is still here.
Okay. First, thanks for having me on. I became a Dolphins fan probably like most others. Saw Marino as a kid, got hooked, and just stayed with them ever since. It's simple as that, to be honest with you. I grew up in a 49ers household, but, they're my NFC team, but Marino is the reason why.
Is it really as simple as that, though? Because being a Dolphins fan does kind of suck, doesn't it?
It's been more down than up, for sure. But yeah, it's just as simple as that. I mean, sometimes, when you watch the games, and it always seems like Dolphins fans travel pretty well, but I just think that's the reason is because they became fans when he was playing quarterback, and they just haven't gone anywhere else.
Oh, that's fair.
What is your bearded Dolphins loss for them?
It all depends. I'm really superstitious when it comes to watching Dolphin games and drinking beer. And so if they're off to a really bad start, like they usually, do, then I'll start drinking beers to see if they can start winning in the game. And that's kind of my ritual as far as beer drinking and watching them play. If they start off really fast, I won't drink until they need to maybe score a touchdown.
So walk us through what happens for you after the game, because there's the post game reaction, everyone lobs out their hot takes, but you've never been a hot take guy, and you kind of wait a few hours and then you start throwing GIFs out until about like 3 a.m. Can you kind of walk us through that process, what you're looking for, even losses you do this, so where's the enjoyment? What do you look for in these?
That's a good observation there, Jake. That is true. I like to read Twitter after a win or a loss, just to kind of gauge, what's everyone talking about. And I just try to, I don't like to get too hot takey. I like to just I don't like to live in the moment.
Right.
Recency bias is pretty bad. But the first thing I look for is for NFL.com to release some videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a few different ways on how to download these videos, and especially after a win, I like to post some highlights.
Oh yeah.
Get those retweets going, and just showing the good or bad plays, or even if they lose, showing some plays of the game. So that's honestly what I look for. If they're getting a big blowout, I'll look for the video right away to see if I can post it during the game as well. You guys have probably seen that from time to time.
Right.
Eric, you're completely different than me.
Yes, I know.
It's almost like I feel bad for the way you watch football, in a sense, because I got to come up with a hot take cannon right out of the gate. And it usually starts with something Tannehill related, because that's the easiest target. You come with a sophisticated approach. You're very aware of it, which I commend you on how to basically not go crazy with it, because I can't take it, man. And Jake, I'm sure you're the same too. I don't know. For me, I want to be like that, where I have like this calm, cool approach to it. But then something will set me off, completely set me off. And it's usually like a bad pass, right, where I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm bleeding done with this team. I can't take it right now. And that's what makes the teams in the hunt, is like those moments right then and there.
And I think when I first started Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I first started Twitter, I was more of that hot take. Like, I would get so upset, play-to-play, live tweets. And I just realized that it's just not a healthy way to watch a game, especially like a Dolphins game. So I just tend to, during the games, I won't even be on Twitter. I'll just wait till after it's over.
So
yeah, me and you can't.
What if there's like an injury or something, and Armando's going to be the first one to report about it? What do you do then? Do you still stay off Twitter?
I have notifications on for Beasley and Mondo and Barry. So if an injury comes up or any breaking news during the game, then I'll get it on my phone just as a pop up. Right.
So we were talking earlier about what off-season additions are going to kind of be the best for the Dolphins. What was the one where you looked down at your phone, you saw a notification, Dolphins signed so and so, and your eyes just lit up? Or even drafted? Who was it for you?
A good way or bad?
Give me both.
Okay. I didn't get the Albert Wilson signing.
Okay.
Just because, they still got Parker. They still got Kenny Stills. And then they got Edelman. And so that's just a lot of money that they throw at the wide receiver room again.
There's only one ball.
After signing Edelman. Yep, only one ball. And so I wasn't too big of a fan of it, and they still had Isaiah Ford coming back from last year's injury and maybe even give Carew a shot, So I wasn't too happy about that signing just because it was an expensive one.
Right. So was there one that you were like hyped up for, like Dolphins 2018 Super Bowl?
I liked the Josh Sitton.
Okay. Would you have rather than drafted a guard early, or do you like signing a guard to an expensive contract?
It's probably more like a 1-year deal anyway with Sitton.
Right.
I think him playing next to Tunsil will be beneficial. Like, I think it'll help him out a lot. So I was like, spend the money 1 year. Maybe he plays good. Maybe you can get him back again for another, similar deal. But I was really happy about that. Up the middle has just always been a big thorn in this for this team. So I was happy with the Sitton deal.
Yeah, and you mentioned how you're like you try to stay away from the hot takes, and you listen to the podcast. Topher and I kind of like to give some shit. So I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna try to get you to be a little hot takey. Let's talk about Xavier Howard. So.
Oh gosh, that one. Oh boy.
So what?
I came out.
You weren't a huge fan of him, and you might still not be completely warmed up to him. What didn't you like about him, and what do you still not like about him?
So it was more of a pre-draft, like before he was even a Dolphin. I I studied him a ton, and I was seeing him get beat by lesser school wide receivers over the top. Like, he really lacked deep speed, I thought. And and you guys remember Kevin White, right, for West Virginia?
Yep.
The wide receiver.
And he's on the
He got drafted to the Bears.
Bears.
Top 10 pick or whatever. Anyways, he was just taking Howard to school. Howard got called for 2 or 3 PIs. And I just didn't like his measurables either. Like, he didn't test very well at the combine, you know. And so I just didn't like that he had some bad tape, and he tested like not a really good athlete.
So
and, yeah, I was upset when they traded up to him for the second round.
Did you shed a tear during that Monday Night Football game against the Patriots?
No. I'm one of those where if he turns out to be an All-Pro, I want people to go find my tweets and retweet them. I don't care. I'm not going to be like, oh, they're picking on me, poor Eric. No, find them, retweet them. You get me? I'll take my L. I'll be just fine, and Dolphins will be winning, and he'll be a great player.
Exactly.
So Eric, give me your take. Eric, so how do you feel about Mr. Ryan Tannehill and Adam Gase and all that stuff? Because that's obviously it's the quarterback, so that's the thing that people care about the most. And then second, you would say it's the coach, right, Jake? Like it's the opinion, your opinion of your team is on the coach as well. So
it's a reflection.
What do you think about those two guys? Yeah, it's a reflect. Like, so what do you care? What do you think about those two guys?
So finally, I get to talk about Ryan. I know a lot of people on Dolphins Twitter, either really love him, they'll defend him to no end. Maybe I was like that when I first started Twitter, but it just, and then you get people that don't like him. Topher sometimes he gets on your nerves, and I can really tell. And my thoughts are on this: like, Ryan definitely takes on the personality of his coach. So when he was with Philbin, he was just like a little kid in the corner at recess, just kind of pacing back and forth. And it just feels like with Gase, he's got a little bit more energy, a little bit more excitement. I remember the game versus the Rams where they came back and won. He found Parker in the end zone to win the game there.
Right.
And he was just like fired up. I'm like, dang, like I never saw that with Philbin or even come close. So I think he's good. I think you can win with him. He's not a perfect quarterback. I know it's kind of a simple cliche explanation, but
it's true.
I just think, and I think he's got a raw hand to start out his career, and so he just needs a little bit of help. And I think you could definitely win 9, 10, 11 games with him year in, year out if you just have just a decent team around him, an average, above average team around him.
I mean, what about Jarvis Landry?
So Jarvis, I've always liked him. I've kind of made it a point on Twitter that if he's a good player, you should re-sign good players. Okay. And then the whole agent thing came out, and I kind of pulled a heel turn. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? I don't even want this guy on my team. And I even lost a follower, like a prominent Dolphins Twitter follower, because of it.
Because you didn't want Jarvis.
Yep. Huh. I didn't want Jarvis anymore.
Dolphins Twitter's about the drama queens.
I'm with this dude.
All right. So
yeah, I'm done with this dude. Like, he's a slot receiver. He wants like that much money. Like, that's a lot more than I even thought. So they got a draft pick for him. I'm all good. He's a good player, but he's easier to have on your team when he's on a rookie contract.
Right.
But now he's expensive, so I'm okay with not having him.
Right. So here on In the Hunt podcast, we are trying to implement a lot of like Twitter polls. We have our In the Hunt Ring of Honor I see you post about. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna play a little reverse Family Feud. We're gonna ask a question, and we're gonna give our answer, and we're gonna survey the people on Twitter. And in about 3 days, we'll be able to see which one of us is the smartest, because Twitter knows all. All right. So we're kind of gonna do like back inverse Family Feud a little bit. All right. And Topher, I think you got a couple questions lined up for us.
Yes. So 100 people have surveyed. Well, actually, no, not 100 people.
We will
more
survey
like 100. We will survey 100 people, or they'll just come and find our Twitter account and vote for it, and Jake will endlessly retweet them.
Exactly.
So I guess the reverse Family Feud in a sense. What are the moments in a game that are in the hunt? Survey says, or survey will say. Jake, what do you got?
I'm going to say a missed field goal a missed extra point in the third quarter.
Okay.
When you set up a game when it's only a 3-point lead instead of a 4, so they got to go for the touchdown to beat you. It just happens every time.
I actually have like a definite like example of this, like an actual Dolphins game that comes to mind.
Let's get it.
And it was 2013. And Dolphins are beating the Panthers 16-13. And it's 4th and 10 on Carolina's own 20. And they get a first down, and they end up driving down, scoring a touchdown and winning the game. That doesn't get any more mediocre in the hunt than that.
It's not mediocre. It's 100% in the hunt.
It's 100%.
Like that right there is. You should get that tatted. You should get that sequence tatted on your back.
So yeah, that's still yeah, it's like a 18, 15-yard pass to Steve Smith. I remember still. I'm like, they just needed to get one stop and the game's over, but they couldn't do it.
That's horrible. I completely forgot about that. Sorry, Topher, but I'm like
10.
Everything like we bring up our like usual like this is why the Dolphins are mediocre, but wow, that one was just I completely forgot about it. It's incredible that we even like missed some of this stuff.
For me, it's when the Dolphins, for example, I'll give you the scenario. It's the Bills. You'll have the Dolphins playing the Bills at a 1:00 game. Yep. Dolphins they're on the final drive to possibly win it. It's not like a minute left, but there's about like 2 to 3 minutes left. And Jonathan Martin will give up a sack to Mario Williams, or it'll be Thaddeus Young, making a key play towards the end of a game.
Isn't he a basketball player? Thaddeus Young, I think, is a basketball player.
No, Thaddeus Lewis. My bad. My bad. Thaddeus. That's where my mind is right now. Thaddeus Young just opted into his contract. Thad Lewis, is the guy I'm talking about. But yes, you get my point. Where the Dolphins definitely have a chance to win the game or hold a game, and it just comes in with just a big play. And when I've been to this game, and so Eric, see, this is where you miss it at when you're watching it on television, and Jake to some extent, unless you go to the games go to a game down here, if you could hear like this collective at the game, like it's the most obvious thing, and it's really funny when you hear it because everybody in the stadium knows it's going to happen. Everybody knows, like when you read it online, you know it's going to happen. When you're watching, you're like, oh, they're going to give up the play, and then when you actually see it, you can hear the giving up. And it sounds so deflating, and that's what In the Hunt is. It's giving up key play. It's giving up a stat. Yeah, it's a terrible roller coaster. It's a roller coaster that just goes down and down and down, and then stops. Jake, what do you got? Do you want to go to another round with this, or because we have history to back this up, so this can go on for the next 24 hours.
24. Whoa. I'm thinking the In the Hunt of questionable signings. This one you gotta be specific. Someone you hyped yourself up for at first, like you were ready, they were gonna be great, and then they just kind of shit their pants all over the football field. I'm gonna start with Mario Williams, just because you just mentioned it. I was so excited to have a big defensive end to finally stop the run. Olivier Vernon leaves, and all of a sudden you're like, cool, we don't have to worry about pressures anymore. We can actually get some sacks. Nah, not a freaking chance. Topher, any come to mind for you?
I want to hear Eric's.
Okay.
You guys would be surprised maybe, but I don't even know if Twitter was really popular then, but I was so excited for Mike Wallace. I kept telling my friends and my family, hey, they got speed now. They're going to be able to hit some big plays. He's going to be a big difference maker. And then, 2 games in, I was like, I hate this guy. I want him off my team. He doesn't try. I hate him.
20-yard box.
Well, with the Mike Wallace, what was interesting was it was the Carolina game, right? Where they finally completed that pass that we've been dreaming of. And it was the ugliest sequence that you could imagine. It was such a Dolphin sequence. It wasn't like Mike Wallace wide open. It was him kind of catching it while falling down.
Yep, it was definitely unorthodox. I remember that catch, right sideline.
Yes. For me, the signing would be probably Jordan Cameron.
That's a good one.
Jordan Cameron. To me, it's that where you're so you lose Charles Clay. Yeah. What did they sign him? They signed Jordan Cameron first, and they were trying to match Charles Clay. But is that how it went, or is it? I'm trying to think on the it was like a real quick sequence that took place with that signing.
What I think happened was Clay Clay signed to the Bills, and Jordan Cameron, it was actually announced, was re-signed with the Browns.
It was an offer sheet, right? It was an offer sheet.
Yeah.
It was an offer sheet, right?
Yeah. And then it was announced that Jordan Cameron re-signed with the Browns. And then literally 4 minutes later, they deleted that tweet, and he signed with the Dolphins. And Cameron's a really good one because you just look at the way he's built. And even like I walked by him in the hotel, and this is going to sound weird, but he's even got that smile like, yep, I want to trust this guy. This guy's going to be great. Like, I want to listen to him.
He's a charmer. He'll charm your pants off, Jake.
Hey, man, pump the brakes. But that's a good one. And moving on, do we just want to talk a minute for about the In the Hunt Ring of Honor, since we're doing all our poll questions?
In the Hunt Ring of Honor. So you kind of get the gist of it, right? They kind of do these In the Hunt things, Ring of Honors, but like I think Zach Thomas was the most recent one, and Jason Taylor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And so it's basically, in real life, they commend and they show appreciation for the players who have, exceeded their expectations. You get the point. Now we're kind of doing that, where we're showing our appreciation for mediocrity.
As of right now,
I've chosen Brian Hartline, and as of right now, I've chosen Brian Hartline.
Brian Hartline took week 1, and Sean Smith took week 2. So we're building a pretty mediocre team so far. I'm pretty excited.
Oh, this squad's gonna be 7-9 instantly, 7-9. But Eric, so you got it. So you get the point of it now.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of a player here real quick.
We'll go.
Oh, you'll go. Don't worry. Your brain. Yeah, we'll go first.
Topher's got a really good one this week.
Are you ready, Eric? Are you ready, Jake?
I'm ready. I'm so excited for you to say this.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush is a good one because when he came here, everyone's like, he can only be a passing, threat. But then he ran between the tackles for a solid probably like 3.3, something like that, which is pretty mediocre. But he did more.
The game was against Buffalo. It was against Buffalo where he broke a big run out, and that was like, oh yeah, Reggie Bush, we got it finally. And it was you know the game.
I forgot who said it, but there was actually a rap line that was like, "Smoke that Reggie Bush," and I just thought that was the funniest thing ever, and it just stuck to me for this day. It's been like 4 of my fantasy.
It's a terrible line.
Dude, you're a terrible line. But
and they misused him so bad.
Oh, so bad. It's horrible watching like film of the 2012 season because you see Devon Best, Brian Hartline, and Reggie Bush, and Tannehill does not trust anybody on that roster, and it's so like brutal to watch, and it's hard to believe that team went 7-9 as Tannehill and a rookie. But I mean, here we are excited about 7-9. So I mean, take that for what it is. I'm gonna throw Pat White into the ring, the elite Madden skill player. When he was on the Dolphins, you'd be setting up your roster in Madden, and you'd always put Pat White in over Chad Henne because he was Michael Vick 2.0. You could run around anyone. You could throw bombs on the run. It was just, he is the greatest thing that could have been. But womp womp. Eric, you got one?
Yeah, I'll try this.
Uh-oh.
How about Lusaka Polite?
That, I'm offended.
That man always got first downs. He always got first downs.
Remember, they always put him in like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and he always got a first down.
He was great.
Sperano was always so hyped.
Oh my God! What I would do for just like once a day just to see him fist pump, I would be so excited. Like screw pre-workout.
Right after a field goal.
Right after a field goal. Screw pre-workout. Sorry. Screw pre-workout. I'd rather see Sperano fist pump and then bury a ball, and then I'd be able to run through walls. That's all I need out of my coach, out of my motivator. That's actually a pretty good one. Lusaka Polite is very underrated.
That Sperano era of Dolphins football was amazing. It was a playoff game. It was a playoff berth, and then it just ended in like chaos. Was that the sprinkler season, or was that the year after when they had Philbin and Tannehill?
That was the sprinkler season. Was the year after.
Where the sprinklers went off against Seattle.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Okay.
That was awesome.
I forgot about that.
Oh, Eric, yeah, we've gone over a handful of in the Hunt moments, and sprinklers going off against Seattle is one of them. So your thing is you have In the Hunt in your DNA. You just don't know it yet. So our job is to just bring it out of you, and it will come out of you eventually. Where you're going to start looking at Dolphins football as not as a pessimistic, but sulking in mediocrity.
So we've talked about it more than enough. Eric, you are fantastic at rewatching things, picking up on unique plays, and that's why you've gained such a prominent Twitter following. So my question to you is, Eric, you've done a fantastic job at rewatching games, picking out things that are, very important, things that people on Twitter will enjoy to see. You're good, you can hype up people, especially going into a week. You have a prominent role on Dolphins Twitter from having a great eye when watching games. As Topher and I always say, some of our favorite words include subscribe to us on Google Play, iTunes, and Podbean. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be hopefully uploading this soon. Questions coming out soon, our reverse Family Feud. This has been a lot of fun. We'd love to have you back when we get close to this season because we are going to get hot takes out of you. Mark my word. You're going to come back on this podcast, and you're going to say something outrageous that I can give you shit for.
I got some in my back pocket. Maybe I'll be ready to release by then. Find me at Eric Elizondo 8.
And does this 8 have any specific meaning? What do you think the 8 might stand for? Let's go. What do you think it means?
8s are always crazy.
I would say that your birthday falls on the 8th in a month. On the 8th day in the month.
No. It's how many wins he gets every year.
You like Matt Moore.
Because they go 8-8.
Yeah, or you like Matt Moore, or Matt Moore's your favorite player.
That was a perfect lob right there, wasn't it?
Was Dante Culpepper. Was Dante Culpepper number 8?
Yes, he was.
He was.
Ooh. Man.
Now we figured out the truth about Eric.
So Dante Culpepper. We cracked your code.
No,
we cracked your code.
Just my favorite number. Growing up, wore it in high school. I was a DB. I was a wide receiver. I played catcher in high school. That was my number.
Breaking news, you heard it first here on In the Hunt podcast. Eric is the biggest Dante Culpepper stan in the universe. That's all the time we got. Like I said, Google Play, iTunes, Podbean. You can find me, jmendel31 on Twitter. Topher, you can find at Cochran108. For Topher, Eric, and I, thanks for joining us, and fins up.